We're very proud to be working on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Nation in Treaty Number 3. We're extremely proud to be working with our partners on the project, the Wabauskang and Lac Seul First Nation, a couple members who are here in the room today. Getting back to introducing Kinross, here's a quick snapshot of what we look like around the globe. And what you see here is, first of all, production of about 2 million ounces a year, and that's expected to continue on for the next decade or so. And that puts us in the top 10 or top 5 gold producers in the world. In terms of where we're geographically placed, the purple circles there are what you want to look at. So we have 3 operations in North America, and 2 in South America, and 1 in West Africa. So we're primarily Americas focused. But the other thing that you'll notice if you look on this page is that there's no operation in Canada currently. So the only thing you see there is the black circle that says the corporate office, and then the blue square that says Great Bear, Canada, which is listed as our development project. So Kinross, while it's always been based in Canada, and it's over 25 years old, we have not mined in Canada in 16 years. So it's really exciting for us to be back in Canada and in Ontario. So thank you for welcoming us. The other part about Kinross, to introduce ourselves again, we can look at numbers like this, but really what's really important for us, we always ask ourselves is, as we look at the map, as we look in our host communities, are we doing the most that we can to maximize local spend, maximize local employment, maximize maximum benefit for our local host communities? And there's many metrics that we track in this area. We have a social responsibility plan for each site, and we obsess over things like engagement metrics. Are we fulfilling our commitments? And of course, some of the high-level numbers that you see here today. So this is just when we spend our money, how much of that money stays in the local country, stays in the local community. And what you see here, the $3.5 billion, that's the vast majority of the dollars that we spend stay in the local community. We look at our operations. We don't want to be operations with just a lot of fly-in, fly-out expats. And so, again, the vast majority of our employees are local from the country or from the local community. This is all part and parcel with our overall philosophy on sustainable mining. And there's 3 or 4 different tenets that are associated with that. The first is do no harm. And in short, this has to do with not just safety, but from an environment perspective, anywhere that we're building something, operating something, closing something, we take the higher standard of the land. It's either the highest standard in environment for that jurisdiction or the Kinross standard. Whatever's the highest, that's where we go to be proper stewards of the environment. Making a positive contribution, this is one we talk about a lot, and one of the things that you'll hear us say a lot is that we take a legacy approach to maximizing local benefit. And what we mean by taking a legacy approach is literally thinking about what our legacy is. So 10, 20 years after the mine is closed in any community, so a Kinross mine, it closed down 10, 20 years ago, hypothetically, Kinross comes back into the community and finds a new ore body. Is the community excited to have us back? Do they welcome us back? Are they cheering that Kinross is back in town? That's the guiding principle that we use to guide all of our decisions, both upfront and throughout operation. And then finally, acting ethically and transparently. Our default in our DNA is just being an open book. We find that just being transparent and open and honest is just good business. Let's talk about the project. In case you don't know much about the project, it used to be called the Dixie property. But in case you don't know where it is, so see the map up there, look at the little inset map, little red dot there, that's Red Lake. In case you don't know where Red Lake is, it's about 6.5 hours drive, basically due north. It's at the end of Highway 105. The mine itself, you're looking at the larger map, that light blue outline, that's the Great Bear property. So it's about 20 minutes from Red Lake, about 30, 40 minutes from Ear Falls, just to the south. Things that we really, really like about this project are some of them jump off the page right away. So first of all, you notice that dotted yellow line there, that's electricity. That's the power line going right by us. The highway, which is a little harder to see here, that's going along the top of the property as well. So very, very close to infrastructure. The second thing that makes us really excited about this project is the kind of the red smudge through the middle of the property there. That is the big discovery. That is what's called the LP fault zone. It is something that it's an ore body that was just discovered 3.5 years ago. So the discovery hole was in May of 2019. And since then, there's already been 500 kilometers of drilling. So 500,000 meters of drilling that has taken place in that ore body alone. Next to that are other ore bodies that are more Red Lake style that I'll talk a little bit about later. But those are additional discoveries that were made in 17 and 18. But when we look at this deposit and it being such a recent discovery, I mean, it doesn't even have a resource yet. That's something that we're planning to release at the end of the year. But Kinross, when we acquired this in December of last year, paid about $1.5 billion for it. So we really believe in this project. We really believe in the prospectivity. Finally, the other thing that really gets us excited about this project is that we're starting from a blank slate. This is truly a greenfield project, which, if we think about the origin of the word is literally, it is now a green field. And so it is something on which we will make decisions that will guide everything about this project right from the beginning. So we have a real opportunity here to make this as low an emission mine as possible. We have the opportunity here to work in safety and environmental stewardship right from the beginning. A couple other facts and figures on the mine. I know this session is for what's happening in the next 5 years. Our timeline is a little bit longer than that. This is an aspirational timeline. Most of the lines on this page here, like permitting, we don't control. So this is just a target that we have, which if you look at the very far bottom right corner, that's by when we hope to be producing, which is 2029. If you work backwards from that to the left, there's some period for construction. There's some period for permitting as well. So no, we don't expect to be producing in the next 5 years. However, you will see a lot of activity there starting even today. So even now, drills on site and a lot of baseline environmental activities happening as well. There's a couple lines that you see there in the middle of the page called advanced exploration. And what that is again, our plan, our hope to have an exploration decline going down next to the ore bodies to give us a better shot of drilling it out from the side and down below. So that was something that hopefully will start in about 2024, 2025. So you will see activity gradually pick up from exploration to driving a decline, then construction, and then finally, if all goes well, production starting in 2029. On the ore body itself, again, this is just another overview of the property. That same large red smudge that you saw on the previous page, that's what you see here again, that's the LP fault zone. There's other more Red Lake style deposits on the property, and you see those listed there. Hinge and Limb, they could have supported a mine and a mill on their own, but they're kind of the second attraction compared to LP. And then there's other discoveries on site like Arrow and Midwest that are very exciting, very early discoveries, but there's just so much attention on the LP zone that we just haven't had the chance or the drills to be able to drill it out to know exactly what it is, let alone taking a step back and drilling out more exploratory targets on the property. So lots of prospectivity there. I'm going to zoom in now a little bit on the big red smudge. So different view, not from the top anymore, but from the side. So the top of the image is the ground, and we're looking at kind of drill hole results from the side. The first thing you'll notice if you look across the page is it's about 5 kilometers wide at this point. We think that we could extend that strike to 10 or 11 kilometers. And if you look at the colors on the page, yeah, it's pretty clear. So the colorful blobs are that's the grades that we found as we drilled through. The bigger the blob, the hotter the color. So going up to kind of a hot pink there is the better the grade. And some of it's a little more faded than others. We just, every time we do a quarterly release, we release this image and we update it. And so the brighter, more vibrant colors are just what was updated in that particular quarter. But you see here some great results, and normally I have to, the writing's so small I have to read it for you, but you can read it there right on the page. The other thing that you'll notice is that it's really hard to conceptualize how big this is. And so that's why we put up there, again, being very careful because we don't yet have a resource. We put there that conceptually, if we had a approximately 1.5 2 kilometer long open pit, that's how much of the ore body it would take out. So there's still so much more ore below, to the left and to the right. And then finally, every time we show this, we indicate with those blue boxes open. You know, where's the ore body still? We don't know where it ends, and you see that it's just everywhere. It's to the bottom, to the northwest, to the southeast. And this has been really rewarding for us as we've been drilling it out. That which we already thought was there, it's being proven out. That which was a hypothesis of a continuation or an extension, we go 50 meters lower, the grade in the ore is still there. We go 50 meters below that, the grade in the ore is still there. And that's just what we have to keep doing over the next few years to prove out this ore body. And of course, this is just one of the ore bodies on site. Not just drilling going on site, lots more happening. There's studies, there's baseline studies. So for any mine that's starting up, we have to make sure that if we're going to close it properly, we need to have a very solid baseline: water, air, land, fish, land critters, everything from the outset. And that's the type of work, baseline studies, that's happening right now. And then same thing on the social side of things, working with Wabauskang and Lac Seul First Nations, and also the nearby communities of Red Lake and Ear Falls, setting up studies on health and well-being, socioeconomic, traditional knowledge, and others. So I'm going to leave you with just a few things that really excite us. And I think I've been hitting this message already, but the prospectivity on the property is what really excites us. So over and above what I've already explained on the LP zone, there's so much prospectivity on this site. So now we're taking more of the scientific view. We're looking down at the site again, but now this is the geology on the property. And there's still so many more exploration targets for us to hit. So number one there is one that I discussed already, which is just below LP, just those ore bodies continuing down towards the mantle of the Earth. Two is the extensions, potential extensions of the ore body to the northwest, southeast. Three is the potential for there to be yet another LP zone. There's another contact. What if there's another LP there? And then four is more of the Red Lake style targets that we discussed earlier. And frankly, there could be a number 5 here, which is the currently undiscovered. So lots of places to put our drills for the next few years. And then finally, from getting to know the community, we are new in the neighborhood. This is a world-class deposit, a world-class project. If we're not having fun, then we're doing something wrong. This is just a few photos of us, so just getting to know our neighbors and partners. So you see there a photo from in the top right from the Norseman Festival in Red Lake. The top left and bottom right photos are from a Chiefs fishing trip that we did with the chiefs and councils from Wabauskang and Lac Seul. Turns out they love to fish just as much as our CEO loves to fish. So the three of them and a bunch of us got together to go fishing on Lac Seul recently. And then in the bottom left is environmental monitoring training that we were doing for ourselves, but our First Nations partners voiced some wanting to get a similar training, and it was just a great idea. So we did the training together. So leave you with just next steps. Lots of activity happening on site. It says here 11 drills turning, but we now have 12. We're well on track to finish our 200,000 meters of diamond drilling for the year. We are going to hit that. And meanwhile, we have our baseline studies and engineering studies continuing, and permitting activities continuing. Stay tuned because coming up at the end of the year, in our year-end results, we will put forward our maiden resource, our initial resource, and then thus we'll kick off a PFS study after that as well. So I'll just end by saying, a big thank you for welcoming us to the community. It's great to be back in Canada. We'll be getting to know a lot of you in person. We've already gotten to know Evolution and Pure Gold in our neighborhood as well. So thank you to them as well.